Okay, so I'm just going to kind of go over what you were supposed to do for today's lesson, as well as just kind of catch up on what exactly the expectation for the rest of the semester is going to be. So the first thing you were supposed to do was this art critique task. You didn't have to turn this in or anything. You just had to think about it. And then step 2 was to kind of read over the notes. And then step 3, I did want you to turn this in. Yes, I know the answer key was posted, but just make sure that you submit that into the Dropbox. Okay. So make sure you take care of that. So this was the first thing. So you're supposed to view the image below, come up with an explanation for the image that you are viewing. Be creative with your reasoning. So I'll just give you, or do y'all want to talk about this, or do we want to just listen? And it's fine either way, because I know there's like 5 of you here. Do we want to just like listen? And it's okay to say yeah. I can see the chat, so if y'all want to type in there instead of talking, that's okay too. I'm gonna assume y'all just want me to go over it. So with that being said, like I would say that out of these, 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I don't know how to count. It's fine. 3, 6, 9, 10. So out of these 30 people, they selected these 5 people to sample. So they pulled 5 people out of the 30 people, right? And they picked numbers 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. We talked about last week picking a number or picking somebody and then picking those people right after it. So if you don't remember that type of sampling, make sure that you watch that video from Wednesday because that'll help you. But this basically pulled a sample of 5 people out of the entire 30. And so that's really just what's happening here. Okay, so these are the notes. And this is kind of like a continuation of what we were talking about last week. So population is an entire set of subjects in which there is an interest. And then a sample is a part of the population from which the information is gathered. Okay. Many times we think of a population and a sample as only dealing with people. However, they can be a variety of things being conducted under a study. Okay. So examples of this. National forests that contain bald eagles. The population is all national forests in the United States. A sample would be a random selection of national forests in the United States. So notice how the population is the entirety and a sample is just a selection from the entire group, okay? The time it takes for students to run 1 lap on the track. The population would be all students in the 11th grade of your school. The sample would be all 11th grade students that stay after school, or just some type of pulling from the entire group, okay? And of course, y'all can kind of read through this. So right here it has a question. It said, how could you change the sample to represent a fair reflection of the total population? So the 2 examples above, over here on the right-hand side, show the population and the sample, but do not represent a random sample. Okay, so last week we talked about random sampling. So there's a couple of different ways we could have changed this up. Because in this first example, it says students that stay after school. Well, that's kind of biased. You know, that's a certain type of kid, I guess you could say. And so we would want this to be a random sample. So instead of pulling all the kids who stay after school, well, what if we take it from a bunch of different PE classes? You know, we time the kids who are in PE because everybody has to take PE, right? And let's pull 5 random kids from that PE class. Or you could change it however you wanted to make that random. But those are 2 different examples that are not random. Okay. All right. Okay, over here, it says the 2 examples above show random samples for studies. We want to ensure that our samples are random in order to truly reflect the entire population. Okay. So this is really important. Random sampling helps us give an overall picture of the population that we're trying to talk about. Because we're trying to say, hey, this sample represents this population. So we want to make sure that it is a good representation. Okay, so here is actually what I want you to turn in today. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to tell me if it's a sample or a population. So we're going to do this kind of quickly, but I want you to type into the chat, and it's okay to be right, wrong, whatever. We can have a conversation about it. But I want you to kind of take your best guess, if you will, on whether this is going to be a sample or a population. So I'll read it to you. So the subjects are some students in your math class, and what is being measured? The number of books in a backpack. So is this a sample or is this a population? Is this a sample or is it a population? Okay, so y'all are saying sample. Okay, so good. So it is a sample. Now, why is it a sample? And again, you can type in there if you want. So why was this a sample? Because it's only some of the students. Okay, so some of the students in your math class are being measured, right? Okay. So it doesn't cover all students, okay? And these like adjectives are really what makes and breaks a sample versus a population. So some students, that's a sample. Okay, Energizer AA batteries. And what is being measured? Their lifetime. So do you think this is a sample or do you think this is a population? Is this a sample or is that a population? Okay, so this is a sample. And I will say this, the first time I looked at this, I did think it was a population, but then I thought about it. If it was the population, well, then we wouldn't have any AA batteries left after we used them. Like, so if we measured their lifetime, obviously we would spend their, like the energy that's inside them, right? So then that means that we wouldn't have any more AA batteries in the world to use. So this is a sample, okay? All right. Birds at Stone Mountain Park and the number of species. Birds at Stone Mountain Park and the number of species. Is that a sample or is that a population? Brandon said it's a sample. Anybody else say it's a sample or a population? Okay, I guess we're all, yeah, okay. All right, so sample. So now why is it a sample? Okay, so the reason why it's a sample is because Brandon said you can't something. You can't get all of the birds in the species. Okay, so when we look at the birds at Stone Mountain Park, does it really represent the number of species like in Georgia? Because like you're not gonna be able to capture like all of the different types of birds. Like you might see a pigeon, but you know, you might be missing the bald eagle that's in like the tree. Like you're not gonna be able to see every single species, right? Or the number of species, that's also outside of birds as well, right? Go back to bio. It's fine. All right, let's go to the next one. Students at your school and the number of absent or present today. So students at your school and absent or present today. Okay. So why is this a population? It's the whole school. Right. So it's the population at the school, right? So all of the students. And it's kind of like when we take attendance every single day, like we are saying, hey, these are the number of kids who are actually present at school today. That's a population, right? Okay, words in the Constitution of the U.S. and whether it's a noun or not. Words in the Constitution of the U.S. and whether a noun or not. Okay, so some of y'all are saying population and kind of questioning it, but let's have a conversation about it. So the Constitution is a finite piece of paper, right? Or slightly finite, right? Okay, so it's not going to have any more, and you can't really take, unless you're talking about like pieces of the Constitution, you're talking about the entire thing, right? So the entire population of words that is in the Constitution, that's what you're talking about. So you can pull out a noun or a verb and you can count how many there are. So that would be population, that's true. And kind of a better reasoning or a summation of that is just the fact that all words in the Constitution are considered. So all words are considered. I'm so sorry, my handwriting sucks. Okay. I feel like y'all are used to it now. All right, and then last one, Americans of voting age, opinion on an issue. Is that a sample or is that a population? Sample or a population? Right. Okay. So it is a sample. Okay. And the reason why it's a sample is because, you know, if you ask people who are like 18 years old on an issue, you know, they might feel one type of way. And then if you ask like 65-year-olds the same question, they might feel a little bit different. So not necessarily that everybody who's a voter feels the same way. That's kind of why we have the different parties. We've got, you know, Democratic versus Republican, and then we've got liberal, and then we've got some other people, right? Okay, so that is a sample. So this is what I want you to turn in. Obviously, I want you to put the explanation on there. Just remember there is a key already posted on eClass, so if you need to use it, use it. But make sure that you submit that to me if you want to take a screenshot, but I know I didn't put all the explanations on there. And I can go back to this page in just 1 second. One thing I want to talk about, and then I'm just going to kind of open up for questions. Things to help your grade. So if you have done nothing up to this point, and I don't think I'm talking to anybody here in particular, but if you've done 0 things up to this point, a couple of things that can help your grade right now. I would do the extra credit project, which is due May 8th. Do your midterms. I'm going to open them back up for my class because I know I closed them on Friday. So that's going to be due May 1st. And then performance finals, that's going to be on May 4th. That's going to be 5% of your grade. And then your final exam is going to be May 12th, which is going to be 15% of your grade. Those are really, really important things. Those can help your grade right now, okay? Last day to turn in NTIs. Please get me any NTIs by May 4th, okay? I don't care about any other date. May 4th, I need your NTIs. You need to be up to date by May 4th, okay? If you haven't been doing anything, turn them in now so that you're not asking me on May 8th, hey, what's my grade? Because I will say this, once you turn it in, it does take a little bit of time to grade them, okay? Just send me a text or email me and say, hey, I turned in these NTIs. There you go, okay? The biggest thing to help your grade right now is doing the work. Because the more work you're doing, the more time you're spending learning whatever topic. And so that way you're prepared for the quizzes and the final and all of that, okay? We will be sending out a final exam review. We will be sending out a performance final review. So those will be coming out to help you, as well as I'll create videos for them just in case. Putting things into perspective, you have 3 weeks of good work and then you're done. So really the focus is just finish, just get it done. And I know that's really tough. I know it's hard being stuck at home and doing all that stuff, but all you got to do is just get it done, okay? And that's really, really what we're focusing on. Do not wait until May 1st or May 8th to start doing stuff. Like, get it done today, okay? Make sure that you're having conversations with your teacher about, hey, what can I make up, or what am I missing? Or like, if you're confused on something, have a conversation early. Don't wait until the like last little bit, okay? I'm basically done with what I wanted to cover today. Again, that was the document that I wanted you to submit to the Dropbox, so make sure you put that in today. Are there any questions over today's lesson, logistics, or anything like that? Everybody okay? I'm gonna hit stop recording too. So